This is Gospel Music Today. We're at the National Quartet Convention, and it's a great pleasure to be talking to an old friend of ours. This is Jeff Whisnant from the Whisnants, and Jeff, welcome to Gospel Music Today.
It's a joy to be back with you. What a thrill, man. You guys are just hanging in there and just doing a wonderful job.
Now, you guys came up to visit us way back in the ancient days when we were in Rhode Island.
Right.
You have one new member in the group since then, because you have a new piano player. Why don't you introduce the members of the Whisnants?
Sure. Of course, I'm the only original Whisnant left from 30-some years ago when the family started, but it's myself and my wife, Susan. We've been married 20 years, and she's been singing with me that entire time. And then our lead singer is Aaron Heiss. Aaron is from up in northwest Indiana, and a little town called DeMott. And then our newest member is Eric Hollis. Eric is actually he's a native of western North Carolina, there where we live. And he lived in the eastern part of the state for several years, played piano for the Dixie Melody Boys, actually for about 15 years. And then he moved to, which I say we moved him to western North Carolina and kind of made a redneck out of him. And it's fit really well. He's been with us a little over 4 years now, and he's doing a wonderful job.
Well, he must be good, because 15 years is a long time with the Dixie Melody Boys, we know.
This is true.
How did you become involved in gospel music?
To be honest with you, I guess it may sound corny, but I was raised in it. Literally, my mom and dad sung in a mixed trio since actually before I was born, and even while I was a toddler, they sung in a local trio there at home. And finally, I think they kind of got tired of group member changes and things like that. And my brother and I were old enough that my mom gathered us around the old upright piano one night down in our basement, and we started learning how to sing the different parts. She started teaching us how to sing the different parts and so forth. And she found out those kids caught on pretty quickly. And so from that point on, we started singing. It was myself, my brother, and my mom and dad. And Dad sang bass, and my mom and brother and I just kind of shuffled the other parts around. And we sung really high till we got old enough and our voices dropped. And so I wound up a baritone somewhere along the way. But that's kind of how it all began.
Now, were you exposed in your area to any of the big name groups of those days? Who were your favorite groups?
You know what, I remember back when I was very young, probably one of the most memorable concerts I remember, my mom and dad taking me to the Asheville Civic Center in Asheville, North Carolina. We went there and heard the Mighty Kingsmen one night, and also the Rambos. That tight Rambo harmony, I guess, is what influenced us. You know, a lot of people comment about our blend and how tight the Whisnant's harmony is, and I guess that's because of the early influence in Susan and I both's lives from groups like the Rambos. That tight three-part harmony is what we were exposed to earliest.
It's especially amazing for you, because I don't know if you remember, you told me once that what you really wanted to be was a bus driver. Do you remember that?
Yeah. And you know what? Driving buses and heavy equipment, buses got in my blood early on, probably before singing did. But it's neat how God just kind of moves things around, shifts things around. And I never wanted to be a group manager. My brother used to do all the managing, all the talking, and everything else. Well, he surrendered to the call to preach, and so my position changed. If somebody was going to keep running with the ball, it had to be me. So that's kind of when my direction and everything position changed, and that's about the same time I married Susan. And once again, God was kind of getting things in place and in line to keep the direction of our ministry going the way that it needed to, and for us to be able to go on with longevity. And I'm glad that it happened the way that it has.
We love the Whisnants, and it seems every few months we look at the Singing News Top 80 chart, and there's another Whisnants song up there. You guys have just done great over the years.
God has been so good to us to have good material. Without good songs, it's really hard to make it doing what we do. We love to sing songs that speak to people. And those same songs, if they speak to people in person, it's become obvious that they speak to people through the radio, because those songs, if they speak to us and we release them to radio, they seem to become popular when they hit the airwaves. So that's just kind of how it's worked. If it's kind of a simple formula. If it speaks to us, it usually speaks to other folks, and that's kind of what's working for us. So we're going to keep doing it.
Probably not quite that simple, or everybody would be doing it.
It's not. A lot of work, a lot of effort. A lot of people don't realize when we're putting together a recording of 10 songs, we may go through 300 demos to come up with 10 songs that work for us. And it's a process. And a lot of folks don't realize what went into the making of that little disc they put into their player most of the time.
What's coming up new for the Whisnants?
Well, we're actually working on a new gathering material for a new recording, and also trying to find the right venue for a new DVD, a new video recording. And we try to keep those as current as we can. Video's a little harder to do because you just got to kind of find the right place, and video is very expensive. And but we try to make it worthwhile when we do one. I like to do one in the right atmosphere. I don't like to do one just to a dead room, so to speak. I like to have a lively audience, whether it's in a church or in an auditorium situation. I like to have an audience that's involved with us when we're doing one.
Tell me about the Whisnant's website.
It's www.whisnants.com. That's WHISNANTS. A lot of folks have a problem with our name, but it's just Whisnants.com. It's not it's just Whisnants.com. And of course, you can find everything you can find on other folks' websites, our dates, current photos, information, scheduling, and so forth.
Okay, Jeff, thank you very much for talking to us. It's great to see you again.
Always a blessing and always our pleasure. Glad to do it anytime.
Now back to more gospel music today.